Amon might very well be the most misunderstood character in Lord of the Mysteries. People often see him and his actions as evil when that isn't actually the case. So today, we are going to walk through the allegations made against him by the Fool's Church and debunk all of them. I chose this one to start off the video with because this perfectly portrays the inherent prejudice the lotm community holds against Amon. Everyone has a right to life, and no one should be able to violate said right. How arrogant must one be to believe that they hold either the right or authority to judge whether someone's existence should be allowed or not? And what are these said illegal acts that Amon commits just by breathing? I guess we will never know. And before you go off making any counterpoints, just look at this EP little guy. Do you really think that he's a criminal so vile that we should not allow him to exist? I think not. This was easily the most popular allegation made against Amon: identity theft. What was not as popular though was any of the accusers explaining how or when Amon committed said theft. Identity theft happens when someone takes your name and personal information and uses it without your permission. Now, as for Amon, he never really did any of that, and it's quite hasty to assume otherwise. For a really surface level explanation, and I will be making proper in-depth ones in the future, when Amon parasitizes someone, what he's essentially doing is just expanding their self to include them and Amon. For example, what are you really? Are you your memories? In which case, we should treat people with memory loss like new individuals. Are you your brain? Well, it sure doesn't feel that way, and even if you do think so, the hard problem of consciousness still remains in your way. How can meat have qualia or subjective experiences? How can we be so sure as to qualify what Amon is doing as identity theft when we don't even know the first thing about said identity to begin with? How can we really say that the person changed before and after parasitization? And any test you run on the individual will say otherwise. Maybe what's truly happening is the idea of their self being expanded into themselves and Amon. Of course, I'm not really sure what's happening inside either, but I am not the one with the burden of proof here. Therefore, until we can be sure of what's really happening inside there, until we can find an answer to the hard problems in philosophy, until we can pinpoint the self we are really talking about, we should not be so sure. To borrow from my previous video, if it looks like you, walks like you, and acts like you, then is it you? Now I know why this allegation is made. You see, the haters don't like seeing Arodes get the validation that it very much deserves, and so they consider it asking for well-deserved praise after Amon spoiled him, quote-unquote, traumatizing. Regardless, that's up to you to decide. What I will be arguing for is the categorization Arodes falls into, and if we can even consider it capable of being traumatized. Because the last time I checked, there were no laws against sealed artifacts, Batman. Moreover, Arodes isn't an animal or a human. It might very well just be a hypercharged Eliza inside a mirror. You wouldn't know. And if we're really going to be talking about the treatment of seemingly conscious sealed artifacts, how come I don't see you guys complaining about the rights violation Klein committed basically on a daily basis against creeping hunger? Thus, if you despise Amon for what he did to Arodes, you should also despise Klein for how he treated creeping hunger. Not so loud now, huh, activists? This is just another one of those cases where Amon is actually the good guy, but due to the mass gaslighting the Church of the Fool commits on a daily basis, people are led into believing that the real abuser, who is Mr. Fool, is actually the good guy. Like, it is just so funny to me. Teaching people basic self-respect is now considered traumatizing by the Church of the Fool followers. And of course, not to mention that this is definitely going inside the Tarot Club files. Ah, I remember this one. You must be talking about how Amon accidentally killed Hazel's pet rat, right? Well, worry not, while I do recognize that that was less than ideal behavior, Amon has already settled things by gifting her entire family crystal monocles. It was actually just a huge misunderstanding. How was he supposed to know that Hazel intentionally kept that rat around as a pet? All Amon was trying to do was get rid of the pest inside Hazel's house and be a good neighbor. And I mean, isn't that exactly what an ideal citizen should do? Even though his actions might have resulted in some harm, his intentions were pure, and that's really what matters to me. We all make mistakes at some point in our lives. What truly matters is being able to admit that you were wrong, apologize, and move on to become a better person. We as a society should aim for peace and harmony. The gift of a crystal monocle probably had such a thought behind it. Exactly why most institutions have a dress code so that anyone notices and understands at a mere glance the fact that at the end we are all one big unit. Rather than fighting among ourselves, we should strive to work together and be more productive. All of us, in fact, too. Me, the creator, and you, the audience. Aren't at the end all of us humans who share a niche interest? Divided by thousands of boundaries, let us put a monocle on for this occasion to unite in the name of common interest. Now, isn't that ironic? We are celebrating the all-good Mr. Fool giving a child ice cream. Do you have any idea how dangerous that actually is for the kid? I did a video on this a while back, and trust me, you should not be giving kids ice cream, especially when the kid in question is under a year old. This is exactly what I mean by Amon being misunderstood. All he was doing here was being considerate of the poor child's health, and now he's being treated like a villain for that. Just another case of him doing something good, and the fool's followers taking it out of context and blowing it way out of proportion. The real villain, in fact, once again, is Mr. Fool. How can a parent be this irresponsible giving their under-a-year-old child ice cream? As the saying goes, all children deserve a good parent, but not all parents deserve a good child. And if you have made it this far, I hope you can see a pattern here. Mr. Fool does something evil. Amon corrects that evil thing. Then Amon is blasted as a villain by Mr. Fool's followers who take everything out of context, blow it way out of proportion, and just make him seem like the bad guy in the situation, when in fact, in reality, the real evil guys are praised for fighting against evil, then they keep committing evil crimes. The solution to this cycle of evil is to be very, very cautious of anything the Fool's Church says. Do you know why Amon got the title of the blasphemer? It's because in the ancient times, Amon went against Mr. Fool when he was committing an evil crime. That's right. Amon is in fact an ex-angel of the Fool's Church. And of course they want everyone to believe that he's evil. Otherwise, what will happen if Amon is the good guy? Everyone will question, why did he leave the Tarot Club? Why did he leave the Fool's Church? And then their lies will be exposed. The real nature will come out. Subscribe to keep up with the Tarot Club file release and share this video to spread the truth.